The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Hi all, Dr. Clark here. This is the intro lecture to current issues in biology. If you are taking this as a course, then a lot of the material in this lecture is going to pertain directly to you. If you're watching this video because you just want to learn more about current issues in biology, then you can kind of skip this video. Okay, so first off, for the course, for the students that are taking it for credit, there are two required pieces of literature. This book by Carl Zimmer, which is called Parasite Rex. Okay, that's going to be the reader for the course. You're going to have weekly quizzes on chapters in this book. It's a nonfiction book about parasites. It's a really interesting read. The other book is this lab manual. Okay, I know it says general biology, but there is no current issues lab manual currently. So we're going to use the general biology lab manual that I wrote, and then we're just going to pick and choose different things out of it. We won't do all the labs, but we'll do probably 70-75%, so you still need this lab manual. Okay. The third thing that you should get that is recommended is a textbook on biology. Okay. I prefer free ones because it just keeps the cost down. So there's links that I provided you to an OER that is free, a biological textbook that is free. So I highly suggest, grabbing that one, putting it on a computer, on a flash drive, something, the PDF, and then you can go from there. Don't print it out. It's a few hundred pages. It's just a lot of wasted paper if you print it out. So grab it, use it in digital form as a reference material. Okay, so in this course, in all my courses, some of you have probably had a course of me or you watched some other videos. There are two things that I really require or request of students, and for that matter, you should just keep these two items in kind of your toolkit on how to succeed in life. Okay? And those two things are, first one is take notes. Okay? Now notes, that can be the old-fashioned way, pen and paper, pencil and paper. It can be the new age way where you're texting it to yourself. It can be voice recording it. I mean, however you want to take notes, go for it. Whatever works for you is perfectly fine. But I'll tell you that one of the key components to learning something is being able to go back and revisit that material. Now, all my lectures are on YouTube, so you can always go back and rewatch them. But a lot of you won't want to rewatch a 40-minute lecture to pick out one piece of information that you might have a question about, that you can't really remember how it goes. So I highly suggest that you take notes. Take notes on the lectures, take notes on the readings, videos that I may show, labs that we may do. Take notes on them so you can recall that information at a later date. That's really the first piece of being able to learn something, is obtaining the information and then learning the information. Right? That's really key on being able to succeed, regardless of what the topic is, whether that's, biology, or whether you're a theater major and you're trying to learn some lines to a play, or you're trying to learn the song. Okay, one of the key components is to record it or write it down so you can revisit it, so you can start that memorization process. Okay, it's not all about rote memorization, but sometimes it is about memorizing it, and then you're going to apply it. You would do this in dance, theater, music, automotive, welding, whatever the fields you're in. the first part is really to be able to take notes and then recall that information. The second big part is to participate. Okay. Now I like to see, this kind of participation right here, where, you're excited about learning material, you're excited about giving an answer. That to me, that's great participation. But I understand if, biology isn't your cup of tea and you're just trying to get a science credit out of the way. I understand that, from a standpoint of a scientist that would have to take courses that I didn't really enjoy, throughout my career, just so I could get credit for it. But that being said, a lot of key components to participation is when you participate in something, you tend to enjoy it more. You tend to learn from it. You tend to experience it and take those experiences away with you and apply them somewhere else. Okay? I like to use the example of, sports when you're a child, or maybe even theater when you're a child, or music when you were a child. If when you were a kid, let's say you played soccer, and maybe you weren't the best, and your coach wanted to win. That's all your coach wanted to do, is win as a team. So you didn't get to play very much. So maybe you got to play 25 or 50%. You sat the bench, stood on the sideline. Okay? Or maybe we're talking about theater. You didn't get a lead role. Maybe you're just a tree in the background kind of thing. Or, maybe you didn't even get any role and you're just a stagehand. That participation is very different. Okay? That 10%, 25%. I know a lot of things that I didn't participate very much in when I was a child, or even when I was in my teens, and now even as an adult. If I didn't participate very much in it and I just, was there taking up space, I didn't like it. Okay? In fact, there are some activities I can't stand now. And the reason why I don't like them, I can't watch them, I don't like to play them, is because I had that bad experience when I was younger in those activities. Okay? So participate. Okay? When, lectures are going, make sure you're watching the lectures. Make sure you're asking questions if you have them. Okay? If there's a topic you're really interested in, let me know. Well, I'll either lecture on it, or, we can give you resources so you can watch more videos on it, or you can read about it. If there's something that you really want to learn about and we don't have time for it, we'll definitely give you some of those resources. Same thing with labs. I know everything's virtual, okay, but that doesn't mean you can't participate. Okay? That doesn't mean that you can't ask questions, you can't do good work, you can't be involved in the lab. If the lab says, hey, here's an extra step, why don't you do it at home? Do it at home. That's participation. That's what's going to give you that edge and make you a better student, but also make you retain that information more. Okay, so I like to start all my courses by basically state this statement: the truth will set you free, but first it may piss you off. Okay, so we're going to go through a lot of current issues, a lot of biological pieces in today's society, and some of them you'll be like, what? We've known about this for 30, 40 years and we still don't use it. There'll be a lot of things where we talk about medical advances that we've had for a very long time, and maybe in the United States we don't use that medical advancement, but other countries do. Okay? And they're seeing benefits from that. Or maybe other countries don't use it and we use it, and we see benefits from it. And there are a lot of things like that where you'll be scratching your head, or just confused, like, well, I don't understand why this is, and a lot of it will have to do with politics, or religion or the economy or something but it's rarely about the science. It's rarely, if some society is using a method and it's been scientifically supported and another society is not, it doesn't mean the science isn't good. It means there's something in the way of people obtaining that science. And so again, truth will set you free, but first it may piss you off. All right, let's talk a little bit about that participation, or that how to succeed in a class like Current Issues Online. So general facts, all right? The average American is 15 pounds overweight. Let's say that you want to lose weight because you're going to go on a vacation to Hawaii. Maybe it'll be December, maybe it'll be next May, June, but sometime you're going to go on this vacation and you have this 3-month period where you would really like to lose about that 15 pounds that you're overweight with. Now, maybe you are, maybe you're not. This is hypothetical. Okay, but this is a good point to show you kind of the connections between participation and education, or participation and achievement of a goal. Okay, so let's say you are looking at losing 15 pounds and you decide, hey, I'm going to work out every single day for the next 3 months. You're probably going to lose those 15 pounds. Okay? I'm not guaranteeing it, but the odds are much better that you're going to lose those 15 pounds than if you didn't work out at all. Okay? Let's say you decide, I'm going to work out 3 times a week for 3 months. Okay? Now maybe you're not going to reach that 15 pounds, but you're throwing in 10 pounds. You're going to lose 10 pounds. You're still fairly happy with that because you've lost weight. 1 month before you go, maybe you're reaching that 5-pound mark. Okay? And it depends on how much you're doing that 1 month before you go. Okay? Maybe it's you're working out only every Saturday, okay, which amounts to about 1 month. Okay? That's when you're putting in the workout. Maybe you'll lose 5 pounds. Studying is the same thing. Okay, trying to learn information that's new to you is the same thing. You have to put in the work. You have to participate in it. Okay, so if you study every day for current issues for the 3 months that the course is running, odds are pretty good you're going to earn an A. If you study 3 times a week for 3 months, maybe a B. Okay, the day before each quiz, exam, etc., probably a C. Okay. Now, these are relative. I don't know where you're starting. I don't know where you're starting on a workout either. I don't know how many pounds overweight you are. Okay? I don't know how much prior knowledge you have of biology. If in high school you failed biology, or you scraped by with a C only because the instructor, the teacher, gave you a C, but you didn't really earn it, then maybe your starting point is much lower. Maybe every day for 3 months is not going to get you an A because you have no basis. You're starting from scratch. Maybe you've already taken a biology course in college and the college didn't accept it, but you did well in it and you learned the concepts. Maybe, the day before each quiz can get you a B. 3 times a week can earn you an A. And if you did this, the class would be relatively easy. Okay? So it's all in perspective to you. But I assure you, the more time you put in, the better the outcome will be. Whether it be losing weight, studying, trying to learn a new topic, whatever it might be. But one of the key components to studying, just like losing weight, is it's not always about how much time you put in, but it's how you do it. So, I like to bring this up when talking about like weight loss, or if you're exercising, doing an exercise program. Let's say you go to the gym, but the first part of your workout, so maybe you hop on a treadmill and you do kind of a warm up walk or whatever, and you do that for 10 minutes, and then you go over to the water cooler, get a drink of water, you meet up with your friend, you chit chat for another 20-30 minutes. Okay, so now you're 40 minutes into your workout, you've actually only done 10 minutes. Okay, then you go and do some weights for another 10 minutes, and then it's 50 minutes and you cut out because you need to take a shower and get to work because you only have an hour to do it. Okay? I mean, you got to think about that. You really only worked out for 20 minutes. Okay? It's the same thing as studying. Okay? If you study with the TV on, music on, friends, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, I don't know, all the social medias out there, okay? And that's how you're studying, is with that little device in your pocket or next to you, dinging you because your friends are out having drinks, or your friends are out watching a movie, and you're supposed to be studying, and you're like, oh man, I wish I was at that movie. Oh, that movie? Oh, I really want to see that movie. So then you just start searching, and you're like, oh, that's who that actor is. Oh, yeah. And now you, just like working out, you've wasted 30, 40 minutes, on Facebook, or, watching TV. Maybe you're, trying to study and watch TV at the same time. And you're like, oh man, oh, this episode's getting great. Oh, I'll just pause right here, the studying, and watch the rest of this episode. Then I'll get back to work. And then you get back to work and you realize, oh man, it's already 10 o'clock at night. I better get some sleep. Okay, so it's not necessarily how much you study or how much time you spend saying you're studying. It's how you study. Okay? This is a good example of cramming. Okay? A lot of students will do this. Okay, you just go to the library, or you lock yourself in a room and you just start cramming. Okay? For some students, it will work. Okay? But cram sessions eventually will catch up to you, because cram sessions only give you the ability to memorize material. And a lot of college professors are not interested in your ability to memorize material. Okay? That goes to this little piece right here. Okay? Information is basically memorization. If you can pull your phone out and you can Google an item and get that information, as a professor, we're not really interested in your ability to Google something. I mean, that's not an important skill. Everyone can do that. My 8-year-old daughter can Google something and she can ask Alexa how to spell it. So, I mean, she can get the information. And I know every single student can get the information. That's where I come in. That's where my lectures come in, is providing you information. But hopefully also you see is the information is provided, but the ability to connect the information, to take that information, learn that information, and apply that information. That's where the difference between information and knowledge comes in. Okay? Knowledge is the ability to apply information. I want you at this level. I want students to be working and trying to achieve knowledge, not information. You can always go back and look something up. You can always go back and Google something. But how to apply it, that's very different. That takes practice. Okay? Now, some of you will probably obtain wisdom. Okay? Wisdom is the ability to teach other people how to apply it. Okay? Or to take this information and this application and apply it to something that a lot of people would say it's not related. Okay? So wisdom is the ability to go big picture with material. Okay, information is kind of general facts, knowledge is connection of those facts, and wisdom is connection of that knowledge to other fields or to apply to novel ideas that occur in that field, and the ability to express those ideas in written verbal form and teach someone how to do that. Okay? That's where wisdom comes in. And you guys will get there. Actually, in fact, there's probably a lot of things that you're already wise with. Right? If you're an instrument player, maybe you play trumpet or guitar or something like that, and you can teach someone how to play a song or some chords or something like that, or whatever it might be. Okay, that's the beginning of wisdom. Okay? Because you've already learned that. You learned where to put your fingers or what each one was. Then you learned how to play it. Now you're learning how to teach it. Okay? And that's where I want you guys to get, is that knowledge piece. Okay, if you never get to wisdom, you'll be fine in this course. Okay, but that knowledge piece is key. All right, one of the ways to definitely kill that cycle of going from information to knowledge to wisdom is procrastination. Now, procrastination comes in many different forms. Okay, now some of these will fit you to a T, and I want you guys to practice and try to get out of one of these ruts. If you're a perfectionist and you're constantly asking, well, I need to know exactly what to study, what will be on the exam, do you have any practice problems? Okay, you're really just procrastinating. You already know what's going to be on the exam, or what's potentially going to be on the exam, so study it. Okay? You know what to study. Otherwise, I wouldn't be lecturing on it. So as perfectionists go, and I understand that it's in your nature to ask, hey, I need to know exactly what's on the exam. You'll never know what's exactly on the exam. Otherwise, why would it be an exam? Okay. The hopper, these are individuals that, they just jump around. And maybe they'll start making note cards to study, then they'll rewrite their notes a little bit, and then they'll ask a friend, and then they might ask the professor, then they might watch the lectures over. Okay, but they never do anything for very long. Okay? They never... It's like going to the gym and getting on the treadmill for 5 minutes, then you go to the stairs for 5 minutes, then you go to a weight machine for 5 minutes, then you ask your friend, hey, should I do the row machine? Then you do the row machine. But really, you're doing so very little to work on cardio or work at weight loss or to work on the ability to learn that you're not learning. Okay? You're more interested in, hey, what does that do? Or, hey, what is that like? Okay, there's a few, and again, I didn't coin these terms. This procrastination, there's been tons of books written about it. I'm not coining any of these. Okay, so I'm not calling anyone an idiot. I just, some of these, that's what the label is an idiot. So it's more like idiotic. Okay, comments like, I don't know how to study. Okay, no one ever told me how to study. Well, you've been studying your entire life. Your entire life you've been studying. Now, maybe you haven't been studying science your entire life, but you've been studying your entire life. How'd you learn how to ride a bike? Okay. How'd you learn how to tie your shoes? Okay. How'd you learn how to play that video game? How'd you learn how to write? How'd you learn how to read? Okay. That's all studying. Okay. It starts with obtaining the information and then practicing it. Now, you might know how to practice that works best for you. That's where studying comes in. You have to decide that. If that's making note cards or rewriting your notes or teaching a sibling or teaching your grandparents or whatever it might be, okay? That's up to you. Okay? Lazy. I've never studied before. This is, lazy / liar. Yeah, you have, obviously, because you know how to do certain things, okay? And you had to study those things in order to be able to do them. Okay? If you can drive a car, you had to study in order to be able to pass the test and do it. So yes, you've studied before. Okay? Now you might not do it very often, okay, but you have studied before. Okay? So you have to approach things as if you really want to learn that material. Okay? This is a classic example. The 16-year-old that wants to learn how to drive a car. I mean, if you fail your driver's ed test or your written part of your driver's license test, I assure you, if you're 16 years old, you're going to study like your life depends on it to pass it the next time. Especially if you have a car that's sitting in the driveway waiting for you to drive to school, or you have friends that are younger than you that really want to ride to school. You get that peer pressure of, hey, I need a ride to school. Come on, get your license so we can drive to school. Okay, all those examples, you have to put that in your mindset. If you're an individual and you're like, hey, this is the last class so I can graduate, so I can start my career, you have to put that in your mindset as, hey, you got to put in the work to earn the grade so you can progress. If this class is the only science class you have to take in order to, go on and be a theater major, go on and be a music major, go on and be an automotive mechanic, you know that this is basically a little hurdle, but you need to make it a big hurdle, because otherwise you're just wasting time. And otherwise you have other people out there, oh, so-and-so is already graduating because they passed current issues, or so-and-so has already got a job with Ford because they passed current issues. You see where I'm coming from? It's a way to procrastinate by, saying that I've never studied before, etc. Yeah. Measure, okay, I get this a lot. Oh, well, so-and-so hasn't started before, and they earned an A, and, so I'm not going to. The futurists, of course, I get this all the time. Well, do I really need an A? Employers don't look at, your grades. No, but if you want to go to another college, they do look at your grades. If you want to get scholarships, they do look at your grades. If you want, to not have to pay for college in the future, they do look at your grades. And then, the dumb listener is just like, oh, well, my friend's going to cram, so might as well do it with my friend, cram. So lots of different ways to procrastinate, but the key that I want to come back with is just study. Okay? Just put the work in. Okay? Put the time in, and you'll see excellent results from it. Okay? All right. So with that, welcome to Current Issues. They're not all going to be lectures like that, I assure you. But, I like to put forth a lecture that hopefully you see some components that you're like, hey, yeah, I need to be better at that. Or I know what I have to do to get the grade that I want. Okay? So with that being said, I look forward to, teaching this course, having you learn, and look forward to lecturing on many different topics, and you guys can check them out in the videos below. Till next time.